December 5, 1872. The North Atlantic. A grey horizon, low clouds, wind cold enough to cut through wool. The British brig Dei Gratia sails west of the Azores, when a lookout spots something strange on the water. A ship moving slowly under full sail, but drifting off course. The captain, David Morehouse, lifts his spyglass. The vessel is steady, but her motion is wrong. No correction to the wind, no hands at the helm. Her name, barely legible through the haze, Mary Celeste. She's an American merchant brig, supposed to be halfway to Italy by now. Morehouse signals, no reply. Again, nothing. He orders a boarding party. As they approach, the silence thickens. The waves slap against the hull, the ropes creak. The ship breathes, but there are no voices, no movement. The men climb aboard. The deck is slick with rain and salt, yet the rigging is tight. The sails are half set, flapping weakly. A single rope trails into the sea behind, as if someone had tried to tie off a small boat that has now gone. The wheel turns gently with the roll of the ocean. Below deck, the air smells of damp wood and oil. The cargo hold is nearly full, barrels of industrial alcohol stacked and sealed. And then, in the captain's cabin, everything in perfect order. The logbook open on the desk, a half-finished breakfast, a child's doll on the floor, a teacup still stained from something warm. The beds are made, the lamps trimmed, even the chronometer ticks quietly on the wall. But the crew, the captain, his wife, their 2-year-old daughter, 7 sailors, are gone. No blood, no struggle, no sign of panic, just absence. One of the sailors whispers, "It's like they stepped outside and never came back." When Dei Gratia takes the Mary Celeste under tow, a wind rises. The two ships move side by side through the grey emptiness, one full of life, one filled only with questions. The Atlantic has found its ghost. In Gibraltar, when the Mary Celeste arrives, the story spreads before the anchor even hits the bottom. Reporters call it a miracle, a curse, and an omen, all at once. The official inventory reads, like a checklist of sanity, cargo intact to 1,701 barrels of denatured alcohol, provisions for 6 months untouched, navigation tools in place, no water damage except for a few inches in the hold, lifeboat missing. The captain's logbook shows the last entry dated November 25th, 10 days before discovery, noting calm seas and clear skies near the Azores. Nothing unusual, nothing to explain the vanishing. Investigators search every inch. They find sewing kits, shoes, even toys belonging to the captain's daughter, Sophia. His wife's Bible lies open on the table. The chronometer still works. The ship's clock has stopped at 6 o'clock. One sailor recalls the strangest detail, a kettle still warm, as if the fire had only just gone out. The smell of burnt coffee lingers in the air. No logs torn, no charts missing, no valuables taken. It is the neatest ghost ship in maritime history. A sea without witnesses leaves only imagination, and imagination fills the silence faster than any storm. Some whisper of mutiny, others of pirates, others of something the ocean itself took, quietly, efficiently, without reason. When asked what he thought, Captain Morehouse simply said, "We found her sailing well, but with no soul aboard." And that sentence, calm, impossible, final, would haunt the Atlantic for the next century. Mary Celeste left New York on November 7, 1872. Captain Benjamin Briggs was a quiet, devout man known for discipline, not superstition. His wife Sarah and 2-year-old daughter Sophia joined him for the voyage to Genoa. 7 sailors crewed the ship. The weather was fine, the sea calm. Briggs wrote in his log each morning, wind direction, distance made, a verse from scripture. The last entry, November 25th, near the Azores, mentions light winds and clear skies. Nothing foreshadowed disaster. The cargo, 1,701 barrels of raw alcohol, volatile and fuming through the oak staves. The smell clung to everything. The crew slept above a restless cargo, that hissed like something alive. No one ever saw them again. 10 days later, Mary Celeste drifted alone, her sails torn, but full, her wheel lashed, her lifeboat gone. The ocean had erased everyone, cleanly and quietly. On board, the clues didn't fit, the ship was sound. No struggle, no fire, no storm damage, yet the lifeboat had been cut loose, not torn away. In the hold, 9 barrels were found empty. They would lighter, porous, leaching fumes. If the alcohol vented suddenly, the smell could have filled the decks like gas. One spark, one lantern, and the ship would explode. Maybe Captain Briggs ordered an evacuation, just until the fumes cleared. Maybe a rope tied to the ship snapped. Or maybe fear itself did the rest. Some later said they found the compass shattered, as if someone struck it. The hatch covers were open, the sails reefed in panic. A chronometer had stopped mid-tick. Whatever happened, it happened faster than a prayer, faster than the ocean could whisper back. When the Dei Gratia crew towed her toward Gibraltar, one of them wrote in his diary, "Everything as it should be except the people." When Mary Celeste reached Gibraltar, the story exploded. A ship found perfect, but empty, made the world uneasy. The British Court of Inquiry began its hearings, led by men who had never seen the Atlantic beyond a map. They examined the evidence. No blood, no violence, no damage worth panic. Yet every small detail became fuel for rumor. Theory 1, mutiny, but the captain's record was spotless, and the crew had signed willingly. Theory 2, pirates, yet not a single item was stolen, not even gold watches or clothes. Theory 3, a drunken crew poisoned by the fumes of the alcohol cargo, raving until they fled the ship. But all barrels but 9 were sealed tight, and the captain did not drink. Theory 4, a natural phenomenon, waterspout, earthquake, seaquake, something that filled the ship with terror. None fit. The only certainty was that the lifeboat was gone, and the Atlantic was vast. The court suspected the Dei Gratia crew. Maybe they'd killed the others to claim salvage. But their log matched the facts, and their faces, when questioned, showed the same unease as the judges. They had found a ghost and didn't know what to do with it. By spring, the inquiry ended. No crime, no answer. Just a sentence for the record, abandoned for reasons unknown. The public filled the silence with imagination. And once a mystery leaves the courtroom, it never comes back. Sailors began calling her cursed. When Mary Celeste left Gibraltar under new command, no one wanted to crew her. Men whispered that at night, she groaned like something breathing. In taverns from Boston to Marseille, stories spread, how the rescuers had seen wet footprints appear on deck after dark, how the ship's bell rang, though no wind stirred. Some claimed to hear the laughter of a child in the empty cabin. Others swore the captain's Bible changed pages by itself. The papers loved it. Ghost ship found in mid-Atlantic. Crew vanished into thin air. Each headline buried the truth deeper. For those who'd actually been aboard, the silence of the vessel was the worst part. One of the Dei Gratia sailors later said, "It wasn't like death. It was like the people had stepped out of the world." Even the sea seemed to avoid her, calm around her hull, windless, soundless, as though the ocean itself remembered. She reached port again, sold, refitted, renamed. But her name was already legend. And legends never sail quietly. Some said the crew went mad. The ocean can do that. Its silence, its sameness. Weeks without land. Horizon the same grey every morning. A ship becomes a floating thought, and thoughts can break. Scientists later proposed a plausible madness. The cargo's alcohol may have leaked and vaporized, mixing with the air below decks, invisible, intoxicating, terrifying. One spark could have meant death, so the captain ordered everyone into the lifeboat, a precaution that became a death sentence. When the wind shifted, the rope to the ship may have snapped. They watched their vessel drift away, and the sea took them. It's the only theory that feels human. Fear, accident, fate. But even that doesn't explain why everything on board looks so calm. No chaos, no marks of panic, just quiet, as if they had left willingly. The Dei Gratia crew brought the ship to Gibraltar, expecting a hero's welcome. Instead, they faced suspicion. Officials whispered they might have murdered everyone and staged the mystery for salvage money. They were interrogated 4 weeks, accused without proof. Their captain, David Morehouse, never recovered his reputation. Even after the case was closed, people avoided his name. He was the man who'd found the ghost ship. The ship itself became untouchable. Sailors refused to sign on. Merchants refused to insure it. When it finally sailed again, it carried a new crew, men desperate enough to ignore the curse. They said at night they could hear footsteps on deck when no one was there. The smell of tea, the faint sound of a child's cry. The Mary Celeste was still sailing, but she was never alone. After Gibraltar, Mary Celeste changed hands many times. Every captain swore they could break her curse, none did. Each voyage brought misfortune, storms without warning, broken masts, crewmen lost overboard. One officer said she steered herself at night, her wheel turning against the wind. By the 1880s, she was a ghost of a ship, stripped, patched, repainted, sold for almost nothing. In 1885, her new owner tried to fake a wreck for the insurance money. He ran her aground on a reef near Haiti and burned what was left. He survived the crash, only to die of food poisoning weeks later. The Mary Celeste had finally sunk, but her story refused to. Newspapers called her the ship that would not die. Writers turned her mystery into legend: sea monsters, Bermuda Triangle, alien abduction, anything to fill the silence she left behind. Today, she lies beneath the Caribbean sands, broken and forgotten. Yet the name Mary Celeste still carries a chill to words that mean a perfect mystery. No wreckage ever explained the missing crew. No letter, no bottle, no confession ever surfaced. The ocean gave nothing back. Sailors still whisper that on calm nights in the North Atlantic, a white brig drifts across the horizon, her sails full but her deck empty, moving with impossible grace. Some say she answers signals with silence. Others claim to see a child's shadow at the rail. The world has moved on, but the sea keeps its stories. A ship can die, one historian wrote, but a mystery cannot. The Mary Celeste never found her ending. She simply kept sailing into legend.